Hello and welcome to the Adidas Trail Running Academy. I'm Coach Fritz and I will lead you through a mobility session today. The goal today is to improve your movement mechanics for whatever run you do, and the focus is front side leg action, working on hip flexion, internal rotation on this side and thorax rotation to the same side. With that being said, all you need for today is a mat and either yoga block or book. If you have a book at home, that works fine as well. Let's go on the ground first, starting on the mat, working on our hips. So we'll go down into like a plank position, placing one shin on the ground, and then we'll sit back, trying to push the back leg straight out, and we'll walk forward with our hands to get a nice stretch at the side of your hips. Working now already on hip flexion on this side. And now we'll add rotation of our thorax to the same side, reaching through, moving back. We'll go for 5 reps, reaching, moving back. You should still feel the light stretch on the side where your knees in front. Got 2 to go, and we hit the last one before we switch to the other side. We'll now move up again. We'll place one leg straight, other leg on the ground, sitting back a little bit, trying to push our heel all the way back. We'll walk it out, and we'll again reach. We're moving in slow motion today to get the most out of the movements. So the movements try to help to increase our range of motion to make sure we have the best mechanics for hip flexion and internal rotation. Like I said, front side leg action is to absorb force whenever you go for a run. And we go one more rep. Perfect. We'll now just sit on our mat. We'll move into a shin box position. So we'll go both lower legs on the ground. Now you need your book or your yoga block. Your foot should touch your thigh on this side. We'll then take the yoga block and put it to the side of your hip to be more upright with our upper body. Now we'll just add rotation and reach to the same side with our opposite hand and rotate back. Now we'll rotate also in our hip a little bit while we're in a flex position and adding again thorax rotation to the flex side. We'll go again for 5 reps before we'll change the movement on this side already a little bit. And relax. We'll now just switch our hand, place the other hand which was reaching on the yoga block, and we will pull with this side. Again for 5. Reach and pull. Going as far as you can, trying to go a little further each rep. And we got one more, pulling our elbow and relax. We'll turn around and we'll switch. Same movement, shin box position, yoga block on the ground, trying to be nice and tall, like sitting in the first row in church. And then we'll reach and rotate 5 times. So while we're doing this, what I told you already, thorax rotation, working on thoracic mobility, but we're also moving into internal and external rotation of our hips. Our hips are most important for running, to maintain good mobility there, to decrease our injury risk, to run more consistently. Now we'll change hands, other hand down, and then we'll rotate and pull and release. So the more consistent you can run, the more your performance will increase. If you're injured half of the year, you'll lose everything you gained. So this is important to implement sessions like we do now to increase your performance while boosting your recovery to stay injury free. We'll now put the yoga block to the side or your book, and we'll lie down on our back. So we'll still work on hip flexion. We'll now pull one knee towards the chest. If you look at me from the side, this is like your running position. Imagine I'm standing on this leg. And then we'll kick our heel to the ceiling, holding it for 2 and release. Non-moving leg should be straight on the ground. Imagine you would stand on it and release. We'll kick it up. Again, 5 reps. So we're now activating our quad to release a little bit of tension in our hamstrings, using reciprocal inhibition to increase our range of motion. So this will help a little bit to gain the mobility faster than just going for a static stretch. We'll then release, put the leg down, and we'll switch. Pulling again the knee, kicking our ceiling, or maybe the sky like me. Holding it on top for 2 seconds. Non-moving leg is straight. If I would walk around and try to lift your foot, I shouldn't be able to lift it. You should drive your heel into your floor, and I can lift your leg up. We'll switch again. Now we'll just grab the knee. We'll pull the knee as far as we can, and then we'll remove our hands, and we try to keep the knee where it is. Kick it out. We'll pull, trying to work on control in full range of motion. Whenever you go for a run or trail run up the hill, if you can't lift your knee like your passive range of motion, it doesn't help you. So you need to be able to control full range of motion to use the mobility you have. We'll move it up. You can also put your head on the ground. Try to pull your knee and down. We'll go again 5 reps on each. This is now rep number 3. Holding it, and we got 2 more on each. Pull. Again, non-moving leg should be straight. This will make sure that our pelvis is in a neutral position, that we get the most specific movement like you would run. Last one on each side. Pull, hold, release. Last on the left. Perfect. We'll now move up. We'll go into a quadruped position. We'll go knees a little wider than hip width, hands below our shoulders, and from there we'll just sit back towards our heel. Make sure your back stays nice and flat, that your pelvis is not rotating. We try to also maintain a neutral spine on our run. So we're again moving now into hip flexion, automatically relative, a little bit of internal rotation. Focus of the whole session is to target the hips and a little bit our thoracic spine. You may wonder why you need rotation in your upper body when you're just going for a linear run, but as you're always moving and standing on one leg, your upper body is always counter-rotating to balance, to bring your center of mass over your base of support. Otherwise, we would fall. So whenever you run, you're always rotating to the flexed side, like we did it in the first movement. Now we'll rock forward again, and then we'll put now just one leg out to the side. We'll try to keep this leg almost straight. We'll sit back, get a light adductor stretch. Now we'll integrate again the movement of rotation, reaching through, moving back, moving forward. Sitting back, we'll reach through, move back, and up. We'll go again 5 times. This is rep number 3. Reach, rotate, move up. And the last one, getting a light adductor stretch while working again. Hip flexion, internal rotation, ipsilateral thorax rotation. We'll go the same on the other side. Leg is straight, toes pointing forward, sitting back, and we'll reach and move forward. Sitting back, reach through. You're always just moving to a point where you feel comfortable. On a scale of 1 to 10, you shouldn't be at an 8 or 9 pain. So you should feel comfortable in all those movements when you get the stretch. And perfect. From here we'll now lie down again on our back. We'll now try to control our hip flexion while moving into hip extension on the other side. So we'll go both legs straight up, like your coffee is standing on your feet, and then we'll slowly lower one leg down as far as we can keep this straight up. This is now activating your trunk, working not only on mobility or stability, but motor control as well. So you need to be able, if you can, stabilize point A of your movement, point B of your movement with mobility, you should also be able to move from A to B. This is how we move in our daily life. It's not just mobility in one spot or in one point of your movement. You also need to work a little bit on motor control to be able to have the coordination to move from A to B with a high movement efficiency. And we go one more each. And then we'll finish with this one. Perfect. So now we'll go up on one knee. We'll then go half kneeling first, putting one leg in front, and we'll move this leg about 45 degrees out. We'll now work on closed chain triple flexion on this side. So we got dorsiflexion in our ankle, flexion in our knee, flexion in our hip, just shifting our weight to this side, wearing your logo with pride, showing it to me, holding it, and we'll move back. Goal should be keeping your heel on the ground while moving as far forward as possible. We'll go again for 5 reps, keeping your heel down, moving as far as we can. And we go one more rep, pushing it out. And we'll switch the side, doing the same movement on the other side. And we'll push our weight this way. We're a little bit rotated, trying to keep our chest up. We'll also may feel a light stretch in your hip flexor area on the side where your knee is down. It's totally fine. Just focus on keeping your heel down on this side. Got 3 more reps. And 2 left. Still focus on the quality, being tall. Those movements you can also integrate into a warm-up before you go for a run outside to make sure you're able to move at the best you can. We'll now go half kneeling, placing one leg in front, and then we'll reach now down with both hands. Reaching down, keeping the chest up, and we'll move up again. So work on this side now, hip flexioner, pushing the hips a little bit forward to rotate our pelvis into a posterior tilt, like a dog tucking his tail. We'll hit again 5 reps. And 2 to go, chest is up, showing your logo. And the last one, you may feel a light stretch around your hip on this one. And we'll switch the side. Same movement, one leg out. And then we'll keep the chest up while lowering our upper body down. Both hands down, hold for count, and reset. Down, hold, and reset. Even if you just do mobility work or some stretching at home, there are 2 main differences. You can work on flexibility, which is just passive range of motion, to work on range of motion without having control over it. Or you can do mobility work like we did it, where you work on control and stability that you are able to stabilize also your joint position in end range. This is what helps you then perform better at whatever task you need to do. We'll now switch the leg again, starting in the same position. Leg down, both hands down, and now we'll kick the back leg out, trying to push as far as we can. And now we'll add again rotation, moving up to the front leg, stabilize, moving the hand down, moving again up and down 5 times. Back leg is straight. If you don't feel comfortable in this position, you can use your book again to make it a little easier. Place your hand on the book, moving up. Bring the ground up to you. We'll help you on this one. And we do one more rotation. We'll then stay. Again, this leg in front. We'll place the rotating hand at the outside of our standing leg, and we try to smell our knee. Pushing, get a light hamstring stretch, and we'll move down again. Chest is up. On this side, we try to squeeze the glute muscles as hard as we can to rotate our pelvis, to also use reciprocal inhibition again. Smelling our knee, release. Hitting again 5 reps. 3. And 2 more. 4. Last one on this side. 5. Perfect. We'll then switch the leg again, starting just with the rotation. Hand down on your book or on the ground. Back leg, we try to push out. And then we'll just rotate again to the ceiling, moving down. 5 times, rotating up. Chest is up. Also working again on the thoracic rotation. And we'll hit one more rep. Perfect. Hand down at the outside of your standing leg. And we'll slowly get the front. And release. You should feel a light stretch in your hamstring area when you extend your front leg. As you can see, back leg is still straight. Go 3 more. 3. Number 4. And rep number 5. Last one on this one. Perfect. We'll now try to also work on hip flexion standing. So this is how we move, standing on one leg. We'll now just drive the heel back, working on flexion on this side. And now we'll drive our knee up, working on flexion on the other side. We'll go again, 5 reps, moving slow with control, heel back, owning the position, always for about 2 seconds. Imagine you pose for picture. And we'll go again, rep number 3. We'll see who did this exercise flawless. So whenever you run, you need to be able to stabilize on one leg. We're not kangaroos, always moving and standing on one. You need to be able to stabilize your knee all the way up the chain to make sure you have great alignment, to decrease your injury risk, to not get too much stress on structures where we don't need it. And we'll switch again. Same on the other side. Driving the heel first, stabilizing, hip flexion again on this side, and we have hip flexion on the other side. Perfect. Again, 5 reps. Nice line from head to heel, like a table. And then we're standing as tall as we can, pushing this leg into the ground. So this is also mobility work where you need to stabilize your joint, and where we're already also working on motor control, coordination to move from point A to point B. 4. And we got one more rep before we do a little bit of breathing work to calm down and to boost our recovery. Great. Now we'll hit the ground again to finish it up. Our pillar has two main functions. So function number 1 is to transfer force all the way up from the ground. So you always need to stabilize from your hips over the torso to your shoulders to be like a pogo stick when you run, to produce a lot of force. Second one is breathing. Bring oxygen into all your cells. So we will now work a little bit on diaphragmatic breathing to get the most out of it. We'll just lie down on our back. We'll then place one hand on our belly button, one on our chest, and we try to inhale through our nose. Deep as you can, and slowly exhale. What I want you to focus on now is which hand is getting lifted more. To use your whole diaphragm, ideally the hand on your belly button is getting lifted a little further than the hand on your chest. Try to now inhale deep into your belly. I will now combine it, breathing into the belly first, into the chest, and we exhale. Belly, chest, and exhale. One more. We'll now inhale for 6 seconds. Again, belly and chest. We'll then hold our breath for 4 seconds. And we'll slowly, for 10 seconds, exhale. And 6-second inhale again. Hold for 4. And exhale for 10. Slow and controlled. We'll go for one more cycle. And we'll go out 10 seconds. You can now keep practicing this a little bit further. When you're lying in bed and you can't fall asleep, this would be an option to calm down your nervous system, to fall asleep a little bit faster, to then go through more sleep cycles throughout the night to feel refreshed the next day. Thank you. Hope you enjoyed it. Try to implement some of the movements we did also in your warm-ups or in your recovery days. See you next time.